Why do I keep thinking about my ex? That's the question I'm going to answer today in this video. Whether it's been 2 years, 2 months, or 15 years, why do I keep thinking about them? They're always on my mind. When I see other couples, I sometimes begin to think back. They pop up. Even when I'm in a new relationship, they suddenly appear and I start to think about them in my downtime or in times of struggle. So if you think about endings in general, let's say it's for a movie or your favorite TV series, like, I don't know, like Game of Thrones or Lost or one of your favorite movies. No matter how good the show was, there's always this attachment that we didn't like how it ended. We'll post it on social media. That was the worst ending ever. Or we could have written a script to a better ending. No matter how many awards it won, whether it was a 10-time award-winning movie or show, we'll attach to the fact that the ending was not something that resonated with us. I'm going to compare to some level on how we don't move on from relationships from the past at some level. Even many years later, if we haven't processed or accepted or settled up with how the relationship actually ended. So if it ended in infidelity, there is no real solution or there's no clearing at an emotional level, we actually can begin to recall those. We'll have feelings of bitterness or feelings of we could have said something different. We could have done something different. Or if someone left us, you wonder why they did and how could they. We cling to this fear of an undesirable future. And so here are some unknown variables. One of them is that maybe you didn't actually get the closure you were looking for. So subconsciously, you keep going back to that unfamiliar thing, trying to use logic to figure out what happened in the relationship when it's a very hard, heart-centered process. You'll say things like, I don't understand. If I had only done this. So you stay on this emotional roller coaster that most often blocks our manifestation powers to something that's much greater. When a relationship ends and we don't fully understand or comprehend or digest the feelings that we're left with because maybe it ended too early. Maybe you think that you could have gone to counseling or gone to coaching. I know in my experience, in my last breakup, I couldn't think of it. I was like, we could have done this and we could have done that. And I would grasp to different parts of it and left me in this limbo state. And even subconsciously, I didn't want to trust again and open my heart again to someone else. And so that began to clear as I began to do the work. I'm just going to give you some things that may be happening that you need to be able to clear. Because the truth of it is that we should not be returning to old relationships in this present moment. If we want to manifest something beautiful, if there's something out there for us, and we're still thinking about the past relationship, there's something fundamentally wrong that hasn't been cleared. Maybe we haven't forgiven ourselves or forgiven them, or we haven't fully understood. We haven't spent enough time thinking through, maybe working with someone professionally in order to be able to find closure. Maybe there is a big part of yourself that is attached to that person in the relationship that you need to cultivate. Something about yourself or a part of yourself you're still attached to that person and the relationship. And when that person's moved on, the relationship is moved on, you feel this void. Not the void of the person being gone, but maybe there's something that you created together that often breaks our confidence. We lose our value. And we believe that our worth was because of the relationship status and how being in a relationship made us complete. So we need to be able to self-build our self-esteem and value and purpose from our own identity, and not from the attachment of the ego wants to return to the scene of that actual loss. And so we want to be able to figure out how to reclaim that. How do we get that back? You may have often not have grieved the loss completely because you haven't grieved the emotions. You haven't evoked those emotions in order to return to your most powerful self. So you haven't really grieved the person, the intimacy that you had. You haven't grieved how you acted in the relationship, what you tolerated, how you abandoned yourself, the things that you should have done differently, things that maybe you're not necessarily proud of. And so we want to be able to allow ourselves the time and the effort to grieve so that it, doesn't happen years later. The most popular one is you've labeled the relationship as the top. That's the best relationship you're ever going to get. You met the person that is the very top, and you don't believe that you're going to be able to manifest something different. This is a very common one. It comes from a place of scarcity because we attach to the thought that there is no one else better out there. And the reality is, if there wasn't, then you'd still be in the relationship. So you keep going back to that over and over again. You begin to compare when you're dating somebody new or in your new relationship, or he was like that or she wasn't like that. And oftentimes we will actually even keep some of those emotions into our body. The other one is maybe there's something in you right now that you need to focus. You need to focus on your empowerment, your confidence. And so we can look at the past relationships and see it as a failure. So it begins to block us and we lose confidence in being able to be in relationship. Because maybe we fought a lot, or maybe we were unconscious, or we had a better behavior available, and we'll actually use that as an excuse to avoid intimacy, to have our heart open, because it requires us to be very courageous to do that. And so you won't allow your heart to fully open, to fully commit to someone, to bring them into your world. And so if you notice that past relationships continue to come up every single time you start to get close to a new person that you're dating in your life, or every time you a new relationships, new committed relationship starts to evolve in the direction of something very more serious. And if the old relationship come up, there's something that is unresolved, and some of the ones that I mentioned may be part of that. And so it's avoiding you from facing your life as it is today. And so the old relationship can be a tool that's keeping you blocked. So I want to thank you for today. And if you comment below, if you think of any other reasons, maybe I'm sure I've missed a few. Feel free to add what you know. And if you know someone in your life that keeps going back to that relationship, keeps going back to someone in a dysfunctional relationship, maybe to resolve something, or again, if you know someone that's dating and they confide in you that they're thinking about their old ex and so on, please share this with them. And I really appreciate your time, and we'll see you on the next one.